This is VOA News. I'm Diane Roberts. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky Thursday called for a special tribunal to be created to hold Russia accountable for its invasion of Ukraine. Earlier this year, the ICC issued a warrant for Russia's president, Vladimir Putin, over a war crime charge. Russia is not a member of the ICC and rejects its jurisdiction. Also Thursday, President Zelensky said that Ukraine was realistic, that it would not be able to join NATO while still fighting Russia. But he said he wanted a very clear message that Ukraine will be in NATO after the war. He also made another push for more fighter jets.
Besides, it's a time to make positive decisions for Ukraine on modern aircrafts, and there is no rational reason to postpone such decisions to train our pilots and to strengthen the wings for Ukraine amidst the peace we all want.
Zelensky made his comments after meeting Dutch and Belgian Prime Ministers Mark Rutte and Alexander De Croo in a surprise visit to The Hague in the Netherlands. The Hague is the home of the International Criminal Court. The conflict between Sudan's military and the paramilitary rapid support forces is, quote, likely to be protracted, unquote, because both sides believe they can prevail militarily and have few incentives to negotiate. This from the top U.S. intelligence official on Thursday. The assessment cast a shadow over international efforts to persuade the foes to end the violence. Belgrade residents on Thursday gathered to pay their respects outside the school where a teenager opened fire and killed 8 children and a school guard before being arrested on school grounds. The 13-year-old who opened fire Wednesday at his school in Serbia's capital drew sketches of classrooms and made a list of children he intended to target in a meticulously planned attack, police said. This is VOA News. CNN is reporting that jurors have reached a verdict in the seditious conspiracy trial of 5 members of the Proud Boys accused of conspiring to forcibly prevent the peaceful transfer of power from then-President Donald Trump to Joe Biden. After the 2020 election, jurors have deliberated more than 7 days. We'll have the verdict when it becomes available. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office says it's investigating Monday's death of a man on the New York City subway. He died after being restrained by other passengers. AP correspondent Donna Warder has that story.
Police and witnesses say 30-year-old Jordan Neely was yelling and pacing back and forth on an F train in Manhattan when fellow riders tackled him, and a former U.S. Marine put Neely in a chokehold that lasted until Neely's body went limp. Video of the incident has been posted online. The 24-year-old military veteran was taken into custody and released without charges. His name has not been released publicly. On Wednesday, people protested inside the subway station demanding justice for Neely, who's recognizable to some New Yorkers as a Michael Jackson impersonator who often danced in the Times Square transit hub. The medical examiner's office has classified Neely's death as a homicide from a chokehold. I'm Donna Roeder.
Zambia's opposition has criticized an agreement with Kenya to allow Kenyan farming of maize and Zambia's help meet food needs amid a record drought. The National Democratic Congress says Zambian farmers should be given priority for farming Zambian land for exports to Kenya, and no problems with maize supplies at home. Kathy Short reports.
The Horn of Africa's record drought has made maize a staple food in Africa and even more sought after grain. In Zambia, one of sub-Saharan Africa's top maize suppliers, police say that demand has fueled smuggling to neighbors like the Democratic Republic of Congo, causing shortages at home. Despite the supply concerns at home, Zambia in March signed a controversial deal with Nairobi to allow Kenyan farmers to grow maize in Zambia for export to Kenya. Kenya's High Court in April temporarily suspended the deal after the Kenyan Farmers' Party argued it is unconstitutional. Another hearing is scheduled for later in May. Kathy Short for VOA News, Lusaka, Zambia.
Israelis launched a nationwide protest Day of Equality on Thursday to demonstrate against the government's planned judicial overhaul and other policies. In Tel Aviv, Israel's plan for commercial printing. Protesters of the high-tech industry toppled a huge installation of Dominic. John Roberts, VOA News.